He said he had a work dinner. I called his coworker to ask what time it ended. She said, "What dinner?" I booked a table at the same restaurant he was at. Sat 2 tables away. Watched him laugh and toast. When he got up to use the restroom, I left my wedding ring in his bread basket. He called me 14 times that night. We met in Lexington, Kentucky. I was 29, he was 33. I worked retail back then. He was already climbing the ladder in finance. He had this charm about him, smooth and calm, like nothing ever rattled him. When he asked me out, I said yes before I even thought it through. 6 months later, we were living together. A year after that, married. He gave me stability. I gave him loyalty. That felt like a fair trade. Fast forward 11 years. No kids by choice, mostly. We tried once. Didn't work out. Didn't try again. Some pain just becomes part of your routine. He worked a lot, and I let him. I told myself he was doing it for us. For our house in Westchester. For my car. For the vacations we stopped taking 5 years ago. Last Friday, he told me he had a company dinner. He said it the way someone says they're getting gas. Just another task. But there was something off in his tone. Too casual. Too rehearsed. Work dinner at Carlo and Johnny's, he said, grabbing his keys. Big client thing. Don't wait up. I asked if he wanted me to press his gray suit, the one he usually wears for client stuff. He said no. Said he felt like wearing something else. That caught my attention. He came out wearing a navy blazer I hadn't seen in over a year. New shirt. A hint of cologne I didn't recognize. He didn't kiss me goodbye. 5 minutes after he left, I was still sitting in the living room, staring at the door like it might tell me something. I called Marcy. She's his assistant. I've met her a bunch of times. Sweet woman, late 40s, always wore too much perfume, but never judged me for anything. She picked up on the second ring. Hey, Marcy. Quick question. Do you know what time the dinner's supposed to end tonight? There was this pause. Not long, but enough. What dinner? My heart thudded. He said he had a work dinner. At Carlo and Johnny's. Client stuff. No dinner tonight, she said. He left around 4. Said he had plans, but not work ones. I thought maybe it was a surprise for you. I swallowed hard. Thanks, Marcy. Appreciate it. After I hung up, I sat on the edge of the bed. Thought about what to do. My head was spinning, but not in an explosive way. It was more like things were slowly clicking into place. All the late nights. The sudden business trips. The emotional distance that felt like a room I wasn't allowed in anymore. I picked up my phone, opened the restaurant's website. Carlo and Johnny's. The kind of place you go to impress. I'd been once, our anniversary years ago. I clicked on reservations. They had one spot open. 8:45 p.m. I took it. I didn't tell him. Didn't text. I just got dressed. No makeup, just foundation and lip balm. Jeans. Gray blouse. Didn't want to look like I was there to catch him. Wanted to blend in. The restaurant was dim and warm, with candles on every table and music low enough to ignore. I told the hostess I was meeting someone, but wanted to be near the back. She didn't question it. When I walked in, it took all of 5 seconds to spot him. There he was. My husband. Sitting at a small table near the window. Across from a blonde in a tight red dress. She was maybe early 30s, long legs crossed like she owned the place. She laughed too loud. Touched his arm when she smiled. He didn't pull away. They were sharing wine. I saw him lean in, whisper something. She laughed, leaned closer. My stomach turned. I slid into my seat 2 tables away. My heart was pounding, but my face stayed blank. I didn't cry. I didn't fidget. I just watched. For 45 minutes, I watched him be someone I didn't know. He looked 10 years younger, full of life and charm, like the version of him I hadn't seen since year 2 of our marriage. When he got up, probably to go to the restroom, I stood. I walked to their table like I belonged there. Quiet. No scene. No screams. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my wedding ring, and placed it in the bread basket. Then I walked out. Didn't look back. Didn't say a word. That night, he called me 14 times. Left 5 voicemails. I listened to none of them. Just watched the screen light up over and over while I sat on the porch, alone in the dark. By morning, he was at the front door. I heard the knock just after 7 a.m. I was still in my robe, holding a cold cup of coffee I hadn't touched. I didn't move. He knocked again, louder this time. "Jess," he called out. "Open the door. Please. Just talk to me." I didn't. I walked to the hallway and stared through the peephole. His tie was gone. Hair messy. Eyes red. He looked like he hadn't slept. Good. Neither had I. He stood there another minute before finally walking away. I watched him go. Part of me wanted him to turn around, to say something honest. But he didn't. I called a locksmith that afternoon. Changed the locks while his toothbrush was still in the bathroom. He didn't come back that night, but he sent a long email. I opened it, read the first 2 lines, and shut my laptop. Same crap. It wasn't what it looked like. "She's just a friend. I didn't want to hurt you." The next day, I packed up his stuff. Every shirt, every tie, even the stupid baseball he kept from some office game. Boxed it all. Drove it to his office while he was at lunch. Left it with the receptionist. A week passed. I ignored every message, every knock. Until one night, he caught me off guard. I was in the Kroger parking lot, loading groceries, when I turned around and he was there. Standing by his car. He looked rough. Thinner. A little wild around the eyes. "I just want to explain," he said. I didn't answer. "She doesn't mean anything," he said. "I didn't sleep with her. I swear to you." I laughed. It was short and ugly. Then what the hell was it? Practice? He stepped closer. I was lonely. I shook my head. "You were lazy. You didn't want to fix what you broke, so you ran to someone who didn't know better." "I miss you," he said, his voice breaking. "Please. We can fix this." "No," I said. "You can live with this." I got in my car and drove off. I thought that would be it. But then came the real twist. 3 days later, I got a message on Facebook from the blonde. The message from the blonde was short. "I didn't know he was married. I'm sorry. Can we talk?" I stared at it for a long time. I wasn't sure if I wanted to answer. Part of me wanted to delete it and pretend she didn't exist. Another part of me needed to know what she knew. So I replied, "Meet me at the Starbucks on Tylersville. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. She was already there when I arrived, sitting near the window with a cold brew she wasn't drinking. In person, she looked younger than I thought, early 30s, fresh-faced, nervous. She stood up when she saw me. "Jessica?" she asked. I nodded, stayed standing. She looked wrecked. "I swear I didn't know. He said he was separated. That you'd left him a year ago." I didn't flinch. I just looked at her, waiting. "I met him at a networking thing in Columbus 6 months ago," she said. "He told me he was staying in Cincinnati while he figured out the divorce. Said it was complicated, that you were dragging it out." I believed him. God, I even felt sorry for him. My stomach turned. "Did he say my name?" She hesitated. "No. Just said, my wife. Never gave details." I didn't find out until last week. "I saw a photo of you two on your cousin's Facebook page. You were tagged." I confronted him. He said it was an old photo, that you weren't together. But he panicked. "How long were you sleeping with him?" I asked. She looked down. "For months. We weren't serious. But I thought maybe it could be. Now I feel disgusting." I didn't comfort her. I wasn't that woman. I just sat down across from her and asked, "Does he have another phone?" She blinked. "What?" "A second phone. One he only used with you." She stared for a second too long, then nodded slowly. "Yeah, he said it was for work. Different clients." I thought it was normal. It hit me then, how deep it all went. The lies weren't new. They were layered. Practiced. This wasn't a man who made a mistake. This was a man who built his own little world where I didn't exist unless he needed clean shirts and tax deductions. I stood up again. "You're not the first," I said. "And you probably won't be the last." She reached for my arm. "I really didn't know. I believe you," I said. "That's what makes this worse." I left her sitting there. By the time I got home, I had a plan. I wasn't just going to leave him. I was going to unmake him. I started slow. First thing I did was call the lawyer we used for our wills. Told her I needed a divorce attorney recommendation. She gave me 3 names. I picked the one with the meanest reviews, said she was cold, aggressive, and relentless. That's exactly what I wanted. Then I pulled every financial document we had. I'd handled the bills for years. He never noticed what I saw, never cared what I knew. I had access to all his accounts, 401k, checking, business cards. I took photos of everything. Then I went through the storage bins in the garage and pulled out the tax records. Found 3 years where something didn't add up. I made a list. Every client dinner that didn't exist. Every trip that was supposed to be work. Every charge to hotels in cities we'd never been to together. Every lie I'd ignored. And I waited. I didn't tell him I filed. I just let the paperwork get served to his office, right in front of the same receptionist who'd watched me drop off his things a week earlier. She called me later and said, "Jessica, the way his face dropped? I wish I'd taken a picture." He texted, called, left voicemails like he was in mourning. Then he came by the house again. I opened the door this time. "Jess, please," he said. "We can fix this. You had 6 months to fix this. You spent it screwing strangers. I made mistakes, no. You made choices. You made this life. I'm just burning it down." That was the last time we spoke in person. The court date came fast. My lawyer dug through his accounts like a bloodhound. Found out he'd funneled money to a separate account. She made sure I got every dime back. Took half of everything plus alimony. But it wasn't enough. Not for what he did. That's when I mailed the package. I printed every photo he ever sent her. Every email she'd forwarded me. Printed every bank statement showing the dinners, the hotels, the flights. Tied it all up in a neat red bow and mailed it to his boss. Anonymous return address. 2 weeks later, I heard he was fired. His firm didn't tolerate moral scandals. He lost his job. Lost his company car. Had to move in with his brother in a 2-bedroom condo in Norwood. The blonde? She never spoke to him again. She blocked him on everything. I saw him once more, about a year later. At a grocery store, pushing a cart with canned soup and frozen dinners. He looked small. Dull. No shine left. He saw me and froze. I just walked past him like I'd never met him. Here's what I've learned. Sometimes revenge is loud. But sometimes it's quiet. It's watching someone drown in the life they tried to build behind your back. It's walking away while they finally taste what they served you for years. And yeah, I made mistakes. I ignored signs. I stayed too long. But I cleaned house. And I'll never let someone like that into my life again. Not ever.